Welcome back to Off the Gridiron, your Apollo HOU Houston Texans podcast. My name is Noah Outlaw. I am your host, as always. Today, my partner in crime, Garrett Harrelson, is sicky. A little sicky
He's
boy.
sick boy.
Yeah.
Sick boy.
So, in his place, we have Apollo Dez. What's up, buddy?
What's up? Unbiased,
Yeah.
clean, filtered,
Yeah.
true football knowledge. Not this fanboy stuff you guys got going on. Just
Yes.
unfiltered.
Right.
What's the word? I'm looking for another
Unfiltered, biased, maybe.
word. No, unbiased.
Well, you're unbiased. Where were you saying we're biased?
You're biased. I'm
Okay.
unbiased.
Well, it's been a good episode. You're already talking shit. It's been about 20 seconds. So, and also, what's funny is you do that. I was going to open up and be nice to you.
Okay.
Because,
You want to call it truth?
yes.
Okay.
Call it truth. Wow. Fuck you. You're a Cowboys fan.
Allegedly.
No, confirmed. You're a Cowboys fan.
If you're new to Apollo, it's probably shocking news to you. So I'm sorry. You can sit down.
Yes.
If you've been here from the jump, you should know this by now.
Yes.
I don't really publicize it because they break my heart every year.
Of course. But
For every single year.
things are looking pretty good.
They have a good defense. Well,
we
I
won't
did say this.
we won't talk about the Cowboys too much.
We won't. No, we'll jump in the Texans because I'm unbiased.
Yes.
I did say the only thing that could hurt the Cowboys is Dak reverting back to Dak of last year
Yep.
and the defense getting injury plagued. And Trayvon Diggs is now out for the season with torn ACL on a Thursday practice. What are we doing?
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the Houston Texans.
Thursday practice too. Yeah. That defense is still so stacked. Like, who's replacing him? Who's his team? Do we know who is?
This is where I trust Dan Quinn.
Yeah.
He's a defensive guy. He built Seattle when they were the
Legion of Boom.
Yeah, I mean, he was the guy calling all the shots there. So I trust him and plug and play. Obviously, Trayvon Diggs, all pro, but he also got burned a lot. So maybe get a guy that's just like in the middle of the road.
Yeah.
And you just keep going. As long as Parsons is playing,
Yeah.
that
you're good.
that guy's a freak.
Yeah.
You're right, honestly, and we'll segue back to the Texans. He reminds me a lot of like prime JJ in the sense of like you have to circle this guy and game plan him, and then it makes everyone else better.
Yeah.
And that's what JJ I think doesn't get enough credit for, because, and I'm just a football guy at the end of the day. Like, I cheer for a team that has a star on the helmet. They break my heart, but I'm a football guy, and that's what I can appreciate. JJ during his heyday and even now is like he made everyone else better.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh, we got to double team him, we got to chip him,
Triple
team
him.
You got to do so much where everyone else can thrive, and the same thing I see that now with Parsons. But I just have to always tip my cap to JJ. Like, that guy's fucking awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And to wrap up the Cowboys thing, I mean, I'm not too worried about the Diggs loss because obviously you like having him out there. But like you said, he gets burned a lot. Y'all are going to probably lose some interceptions this year. That's his bread and butter. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think y'all are going to be okay. Now let's get into the Texans. The Texans. This is a Jacksonville Week 3 at Jacksonville preview. We'll start out with the bad news here. Derek Stingley.
Yeah, that
hamstring.
broke.
Yeah. He's going to be out, confirmed 6 to 8 weeks. It's a long time to be missing our best corner. Steven Nelson's had a good year, and Shaquille Griffin is going to be the replacement there at corner for Stingley. Shaquille Griffin's played some good football. It's been a bit since he's played good football. I'm interested to see what he can do there. But you don't like to see it. You hate to see it, especially whenever on this defense, Jimmy Ward and Jalen Petrie have both been out. Luckily, we get Jimmy Ward back this week. Jalen Petrie will not be playing. And so I was excited to see those guys start to come together, but then the Stingley news drops, and we're missing him for a long time.
Yeah, and look, it's always going to sting, I think, the fan base as well, and comment down below about it because
what do you
the Gardner, the Sauce Gardner thing.
Yeah.
But when Stingley plays, he's legitimately really, really good.
Yeah.
But he's not on the field, and he wasn't at the field at LSU. When he did play, he was amazing.
Yeah.
But it was always the injuries, always the soft tissue stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But T's first 2 games, no one was targeting him.
No.
He was legitimately becoming a lockdown.
Yeah,
this side of the field is just off limits.
Yep.
But man, and look, hopefully hopefully he can bounce back quick, but take your time. Like, you can't have a second flare because now you're looking at the entire year being gone.
Yeah.
If they rush him back too soon.
Absolutely.
But also the injury bug for your Texans has been.
Everyone's getting hurt.
Yeah.
Everyone's getting hurt.
What is it? Is it practice? Is it the what is it? Strength and conditioning coaching? Is it a philosophy?
I really don't know. The Texans strength and conditioning coach has been there a long time. He's been there since, from what I understand, at least 2016. So he's been here a while. I don't know what they're doing. I don't know if this is maybe a D'Amico kind of learning the ropes of being a head coach for the first time, not knowing exactly how to handle the rate of practice or who's practicing or how many snaps or reps you get in practice. I don't know. It's a huge bummer, but like I said, at the end of the day, don't rush it. Look, the Texans are not winning a lot of games this year. It's just not, and it's probably not going to happen. I'd rather Stingley get healthy. Like you said, he was playing so well. I think he's only allowed like 2 in last week's game. He allowed 1 reception. It was a big one, but it was for like 43 yards. But it was just kind of he was going for a pick, and he kind of got burned after that. But the thing is, I want him to get healthy because, like you said, everyone is going to always compare him to Sauce. Sauce hasn't had the best year though.
No.
Sauce has been looking. So I don't know. It's hard to say. But you're right. The thing about him coming out at LSU was he was always hurt, and that was one thing I was worried about. He had a hamstring issue last year that, in around like week 9 or so, that had him out for the season. We got another 8 weeks without him coming up. Hopefully more. Hopefully not more. But I don't know. I'm not super worried about it because, like I said, we're not going to be winning games. But I just want to see this defense at full capacity.
Correct.
Stingley, Nelson, Jimmy Ward, Jalen Petrie, Will Anderson, Henry To'oTo'o, Christian Harris, Denzel Perryman. These are guys who can play ball, and we just need to get them all out there. And hopefully at some point this season, there's still a whole lot of season left. I mean, Stingley's still going to be back by, week 12 now or something like that, week 11. Fingers crossed. There's a chance we get to see this defense at full throttle, but it's just going to be a while.
Yeah, and I look, AFC South's not going to be the top division in the NFL.
No.
So you have a chance in Jacksonville to go in, get back into the thick of it, and obviously it's tough with Trevor Lawrence being Trevor Lawrence and all that. He finally got his playoff win after throwing 6 interceptions in the first half. It felt like.
Yeah.
Looking at the weather real quick before we jump in the game, AccuWeather has a 6% chance of rain, 92 degrees. The tagline, it's funny. Mostly sunny and warm with low humidity. A hot afternoon for football. Stay hydrated. So even AccuWeather, like, football's king.
They're looking. They're looking out.
AccuWeather's looking out for everyone there.
AccuWeather's gonna send some Gatorade down to the sideline for the boys. The AFC South at the moment, everyone's 1-1 except for our Houston Football Texans, which is fun. That's great. We love that. Here's the deal: the Titans somehow were able to beat the Chargers last week. I really don't.
The Chargers are bums.
I really don't know how they managed to do that. The Colts beat us. I don't think Anthony Richardson might not play.
He's out.
So
officially.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's officially out. So Anthony Richardson's not playing.
Gardner Minshew is starting.
Gardner looked pretty good last week.
Well, also, look, he did look good against the Texans, beat up secondary team. But, like, also, you don't game plan for him. Like,
no.
you come in and now you're trying to get a defensive scheme on the fly.
Yeah.
So, like, I think if the Texans played the Colts 10 times with Gardner Minshew being quarterback 1, it's probably split 5-5. So it's just one of those things.
And also, like you mentioned, the Texans didn't game plan for Gardner Minshew or even anywhere near that type of play.
Yeah.
That type of like Anthony Richardson and Gardner Minshew. It's actually a really funny QB room because Anthony Richardson plays nothing like Gardner or Sam Hellinger. Like that, like they're totally different styles of play. So I think you're right though. I think Gardner. I'm kind of interested to see what Gardner does this week though. I like Gardner. I think the Jets might need to make a move for Gardner, but we'll talk about that on Play Action Takes. But yeah, let's get into the game. The Jaguars are a team that the Texans historically beat. We're 5-0 against them in Jacksonville the last 5 times we've played. We don't lose there as of late. Now, last year when we played Jacksonville, Trevor Lawrence hadn't become the Trevor Lawrence that we know yet. There was a flip that got switched halfway through last season. Because then the second time the Texans played the Jags last year in Houston, the score was like 33-3 or something. So I'm interested to see what Trevor does, or what kind of Trevor shows up. Last week they weren't able to. He didn't look great last week.
No.
The Jags put up 9 points of offense last week.
The problem is they only put up 9 points of offense. You know they're coming in ready to send a statement. That's not always a great thing when they can build up. Because, look, now that Stingley's out, Ridley's going to be on the outside with no Stingley shadow, essentially. Yeah. They're going to have Kirk. They're going to have Jones as well. Mm-hmm. I mean, they pepper Kirk with targets in the slot, especially. Yeah. So if the problem is if Kirk gets on these linebackers, he's gonna have a huge fantasy day. Yeah. You can game plan around a Calvin Ridley and all that, and he'll still put up numbers as he's their leading receiver. Yeah. But Doug Peterson's offense, he will scheme these guys open, and he's licking his chops, seeing the film of just last week of all these backers being on slot receivers or on the tight end or on the running backs, because you have a Trevor Lawrence that can dissect you if he's rolling. You can get him frustrated, you get him flustered for sure. Yeah. But if you get him not moving off that ball and he can just hand it off to ETN or dump it off to ETN and use his receivers, could be a long day.
Yeah, that offense is deadly. That offense is deadly. Tons of weapons, especially like you mentioned, a beat-up defense. My expectations are not high. I will say this. Now, I hope D'Amico can come in and dial up a really creative and lock down defensive scheme for Trevor. Hopefully they see something we don't. But like you mentioned, God, Calvin Ridley has been a dog this year. Christian Kirk is a dog. Evan Ingram's a dog. Travis Etienne is a dog.
I forgot about Ingram.
I know. So they have guys that it's going to be a big challenge. It's going to be a big challenge on the defensive side of the ball for the Texans that I'm going to be keeping an eye on. Now, this is what I'm going to say. Will Anderson gets at least one sack this game. I think he gets 2.
It's a fair take. I mean,
I think he gets 2.
I would unleash him. This should be a game where if he can cause Lawrence to get off the ball, the Texans have a really, really good shot of, 1, covering the spread, and 2, outright winning. Yeah. The more I'm thinking through this, if Tunsil plays, which I think he's projected to play, right?
Yeah, Tunsil is practicing, so yes.
If he can just give Stroud time, and look, I wasn't anti-Stroud. I was anti-Ohio State quarterbacks. Yep. First 2 games, he's looked really, really good. He's better than Bryce. Obviously, Anthony's a freak, but he's in concussion protocol. Levis doesn't play. Was there any other rookie quarterbacks?
Bryce, Levis, AR, Stroud. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, you look, he's a dude, and you look like you have something there. And I was on the radio with Brian Lima on 790, and I was like, maybe him going 2 was the best thing for him. Yeah. In the sense of that he has his own chip on the shoulder. Yeah. And he can just be like, fuck the world. Yep. It's me versus everyone. Sometimes you want that, especially at the quarterback position. And he's making throws. He just needs time. The other side, too, it's been one-sided offensively. Yep. You haven't been able to establish the run. And especially with Damian Pierce, how good he was last year. Yeah. It's been tough sledding for him. And obviously, it has. You have a papier-mâché backup third-string offensive line just because everyone's hurt. Exactly. But you have to figure out, and maybe it's outside zone or quick passes to Tank Dell or to Nico in the slot just to get everyone out of the box. Yeah, yeah. And give some respect. If you can just stretch out that defense, that allows Stroud to not potentially have a stacked box where he's getting sacked. I think he's been sacked 11 times. Yeah, yeah. He's been sacked a lot. Last week I think 6 times. I think week 1 it was 5. Yeah. So you're Stroud is a guy, and I have a really interesting stat, something we're all going to be keeping our eye on. I'll bring it up in a second, but I do want to touch on Pierce. Pierce is catching a lot of strays from mainstream media. A lot of people who drafted him high in fantasy, he fucking sucks, he's a bum.
People don't understand what's going on with our offensive line right now. Our offensive line it is ridiculous what's happened. Every single episode of Off the Gridiron this season, we've talked about it, and I sound like a broken record. But we have 8 injuries on the offensive line.
Yeah, you can't do anything about that.
You can't. And like I'm not gonna sit here and dog on Pierce, and I don't think anyone should dog on Pierce for not producing to what we expected him to when the line in front of him last week was Josh Jones at left tackle, who's never played tackle. Left guard was Kendrick Green, not Kenyon Green, Kendrick Green.
Mm-hmm. Who you just got off waivers, right? Yeah.
Figured we're like, we need someone. Jarrett Patterson, 6th-round pick at center. Right guard was Shaq Mason, who was our only starter, but he also has had a slow start to the year. And right tackle was George Fant. Do you know any of those guys except for Shaq Mason? No, you don't. And that's a problem. That is an issue because going into this season, Laramie Tunsil, Titus Howard, that's a great tackle duo. Kenyon Green, a promising second-year player. Shaq Mason, we traded for him from Tampa Bay, good player. Juice Scruggs has been phenomenal in camp, and he was a second-round pick. Like these were supposed to be the guys. This offensive line was supposed to be top-notch, or at least up there, like one of the better units in the league, maybe a top 10, top 15 unit. And now we're sitting here with 11 sacks on CJ, and that is so impressive. And so whenever that line gets back, Pierce will be fine. Now, the fact that CJ Stroud is doing what he's doing with this offensive line, he is 58 for 91, 626 yards, 2 touchdowns this season. Patrick Storm tweeted this out, and it's been kind of going around.
Friend of the program.
Friend of the program. Great episode with him before the season started. He found this out or did his research. And this is actually DJ Bienemy tweeting this. If Texans quarterback CJ Stroud throws for at least 213 passing yards on Sunday against the Jaguars, that'll be the 5th most passing yards ever for first 3 games of a career.
Wow.
The other 5 right now are Cam Newton, who had 1,000 in his first 3 games. That's crazy. Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Andrew Luck, and Baker Mayfield. Strong list. Very strong list. So that is good company to be around. Good shit, Patrick, for figuring that out. But that just kind of puts it in perspective about this type of season CJ Stroud's having. I had high expectations for CJ. I did not think he was going to do this.
Yeah, I mean, I think some of it was some soft coverage against Indy that he got some, but he's been making some really, really good throws and great decisions. Yeah. Obviously, he's no interceptions is huge. I know he has a couple of strip sacks, but he's getting hit every single play. I think the way he's been able to work, and the other reason why I want to see more outside zone or more kind of a Sarkisian, get the receivers out on the outside of the hashes to let the box not be so tight for him, is because you have a Robert Woods who's just a dialed scientist in route running.
Yeah.
Nico Collins' 3rd-year emergence coming.
Yep.
He's been great.
140 yards last week.
Tank Dell, I think, is going to start getting more and more usage, and his offensive snaps are going up because you just can't cover him, and you just can't. I mean, obviously he's not on a true pitch count, but I mean, you just got to feel like you got to roll with him at all times. And then you haven't even got Dalton Schultz available. He's kind of been non-existent in the past game.
We got to get Schultz more involved. As a Cowboys fan, you know what he is capable of doing. He can be a really important part of any offense. I don't know why he hasn't been more involved. That's one thing I'm looking for this week. Let's get Schultz more involved because, like I mentioned, with the Cowboys, they would use him in really, really cool ways.
He became the safety blanket over there for Dak for a long while. So, and also, Pierce has some hands. Like you can get him out and have some slip screens or get him out in a motion or something. Just, I feel like Stroud is doing the best he can, but you can maximize it more. Yeah. With, okay, this is what we have. With a makeshift line, he's got to get out of it quick because he doesn't have much time to do that. And you want him to push the ball down the field, and he has been doing that. But you also don't want him to start eyes down, looking at another. Okay, my first read's not there. Eyes down, I got to get out of the pocket. Yeah, because that's when bad habits start developing.
Of course.
And as a rookie learning the NFL, you want to avoid those. They're going to come. They're going to happen. But you just want to maximize what can we do to build around
Absolutely.
Stroud.
Yeah. And Schultz is the kind of guy before all offseason I've been saying he's going to be the safety blanket, which it's funny. You know who has more kind of been his safety blanket has been Robert Woods.
Yeah. Really
Robert
has.
Woods he's just kind of there. Like if CJ needs him, he's there. You mentioned his route running is phenomenal. So I think the Texans offense can have a good day. I think they can have a big day. Obviously I hope they do. I think CJ can go into Jacksonville and do his thing. I do. And especially if Laramie's playing, get him some protection. Let him have time in the pocket, because when he has time in the pocket, he goes through his reads flawlessly.
Very, very well.
He's so good at reading the field. And if he has time, he will slice and dice any defense. Pretty much, I don't know, maybe not any defense. Who knows? I'm not gonna trot him into San Francisco right now, thinking he's gonna slice and dice. But I think he's capable of doing that to a lot of defenses in the NFL, and I think Jacksonville's one of them. They're 25th or 26th in passing yards allowed.
I think I'm taking the over.
Yeah.
In this game.
Yeah. I do want to get into that. What is your final score prediction for this game?
I'm going to go 31-24 Jacksonville.
I like it. I'm around the same. I'm going to say 31-28.
Ooh.
Say 31-28. A little closer. I think this is going to be a close game. Look, divisional games. I know last week we didn't perform well in a divisional game, but I think Jacksonville is a team who, look, man, when the Texans, I don't care, even the past seasons when the Texans have not been a good football team, they go into Jacksonville and get shit done. And I think the team has momentum. I think even with the loss last week, there's a lot of optimism in the locker room. The guys are pumped. CJ's playing well. Nico's breaking out. Like there's stuff to be happy about. And I think the boys go out there and they're confident that weather, hey, they've been practicing in that 105-degree Houston heat. This 92 and a little humid.
It's a little cool front.
Ain't shit.
A little cool front.
Nothing. So every week, we talk, we're talking about this. Garrett, said it's like heroin. Every week, you're like, the Texans can do it. Like it's like a drug. Like, oh yeah, the Texans can win, and then we'll shoot off the gridiron, and they get lost by 30. But I think there's a shot, and I'm pumped about it. I can't wait. I'm just excited to see what CJ does. I don't care. I say it all the time. I don't care about wins and losses for this team right now. I just want CJ Stroud to keep getting better and keep, making people be like, oh shit, the Texans got a guy.
Yeah, and I think the more he's upright and not on his back, you can see the brilliance of what CJ Stroud is capable of doing.
Yeah.
But I also think he can't throw 45 times a game.
Yeah, no.
You have to figure out a way to I don't know if it's slowing the games down and limiting possessions to give yourself a chance, or if you just want to take the Lions approach and be like, let's just make a shootout every single game because that's what we want to do.
Yeah.
But it just seems right now he's really seeing the field well. And I think that first start being on the road in Baltimore is going to pay dividends. I think this week, when you start as a rookie and you have to go to Baltimore and face that defense,
it's the hardest environment to play.
Hard. I mean, like right off the rip. I mean, other than maybe like Dallas's defense or like San Fran's defense or like in Pittsburgh, or those three places.
Yeah. Like
Baltimore's right up there as a spot where a rookie quarterback you don't want to do.
You do that. Thrown into the fire, like,
and he looked good.
Yeah,
and so I think you're gonna see a different CJ Stroud. You're gonna see. I think he's learning on the job.
Yep.
And he's gonna be capable of. I think he's a dog. I really do. I mean, go back to the Georgia game, right?
Yeah.
He against an NFL defense. Georgia had an NFL defense.
They did. Yeah.
And diced them up. So, no, I think he can build off it. I think the fan base. This is completely unbiased, obviously. I think you guys have a quarterback, and that's what you need. You have a vision. You have a head coach.
Yep.
You just need the dudes to get healthy.
Yeah, exactly. We need the dudes to get healthy, and we need the dudes. We have a lot of young guys. We need to get a little older, get a little more talented. That's why Nico's, he's in his third year. He's hopefully seeming to have a breakout year. He has 226 yards this year so far. He's fifth most in the league. Phenomenal. But yeah, no, you're right. I think CJ's the guy. And that's the thing. That's back when number 4 was drafted, and that watching him become a good quarterback was some of the most fun I've had as a Texans fan, because we never had one of those.
Right.
Or Schaub was good, but it wasn't the same. Stroud's a guy who, that second overall pick, you need that to hit, and it looks like he is. Looks like he's the guy. And like you look at what's happening with Bryce there in Carolina, a lot of thoughts about is he big enough? Can he take hits? He's already hurt. He's already missing a game. Carolina, he's just not CJ is not by far. Anthony Richardson looks good as well, but CJ and Anthony are the two guys that are like seeming to be the steals of the draft. And I'm just pumped that we have one. And I just can't wait to see him play this week. But I think the Texans can do it. We'll probably wrap it up. We'll see what happens.
You have them covering.
I have them covering. What's the spread? Like 9.5 or something?
I think it's 8.
It's disrespectful. It's 8 now. It was 9.5 the other day.
But some money came in. Move that line down, huh?
Yep. So
it's hard to give an NFL team 2 possessions.
Yeah.
The spread.
Yeah, that's tough.
I don't hate it. I like the over for sure. I think this is going to shoot out.
Yeah.
The line offshore right now is down to 7.5.
Damn. I'm telling you, word's getting out a little bit. The Texans, we're not good by any means, but
hey,
we got some guys.
Good teams win. Great teams cover.
That's facts. You heard it here from the Cowboys. Congrats on your Cowboys, by the way. Before we get out of here, I'm going to be keeping an eye on it. And
September. I'm not getting my hopes up.
Yeah. No,
if we're still having this conversation in December, then I'll be like, okay, they'll break my heart in January.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm not.
Or they'll break your heart that first week of February. Maybe.
I may light myself on fire.
If the Cowboys make it to the Super Bowl but lose, are you going to be happy with that? No. They got to get there and win.
I mean, I was like an infant when they won. Like, I've never
exactly
seen it.
Right. Would you? Antonio Smith said this once, and I always thought this was interesting. He said he'd rather not make the Super Bowl than make the Super Bowl and lose.
I mean, like, yeah, an NFC Championship is cool and all, but you have the Eagles in a division where they've won a Super Bowl and then they've just lost another one. Yeah, no, you have to win. You have to win it. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Me personally, if the Texans were good enough to even make a Super Bowl, I'd be like, if we lose, like, it's a bummer, but I'm cool. Like, we made it to the Super Bowl. That's fucking awesome. But I'm hoping, I talk a lot of shit, but a lot of people in my life are Cowboys fans, so I'm going to support the boys. I'm going to support the boys.
That's a kiss of death.
Yeah, I did.
You're a kiss of death.
Congrats. There you go. That's the
Cowboys
trick.
are losing this week.
Fuck y'all. Fuck the boys. But all right, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. What do you think goes down in this Week 3 matchup between the Jags and the Texans in Jacksonville? Let us know down in the comments below. Final score prediction. Desi, anything else? You want to plug something? You want to?
Everything on this channel. Like, subscribe, resubscribe, unsubscribe, comment. And you guys have a dude. CJ Stroud is a dude.
We have a dude.
I was wrong.
You heard it here. Thank you for admitting.
I don't say that a lot.
He does not. He doesn't say that.
I still don't trust Ohio State quarterbacks, but he may be the exception.
He might be the one.
He may be the exception to the rule.
Yeah, because you just can't have.
He
a
may
guy.
be the exception.
He just throws the football like just so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Now Justin Fields sucks. He's so bad. But anyway, guys, make sure you leave a like, do all the things he said. Make sure you check out Play Action Takes, the NFL, the 30,000-foot view of the NFL. It's our podcast. It's a lot of fun to do that over there with me and Garrett and Stoney. Check it out. It's a good show. It's fun. But other than that, thanks for watching. We'll see you later.
Peace. Cowboys are the third best odds for the Super Bowl.